Now we are at morphology. You have multiple morphology questions. The format of morphology questions are exactly the same with the ones we have seen in our homework. Here I give you one example. I want to let you know that this example is the hardest example. The questions you'll see in the midterm will not be harder than this. It will be very helpful to have pen and paper with you when answering morphology questions. This example question only asks you to identify the processes of forming new words, but in your real midterm, you will also have questions to ask you to identify morphemes in different words. We had plenty of experiences answering both types of questions, and if you forget what they're like, go back to your homework. And if you have questions, you can come to my office hours and we can take a look at them together. So now let's take a look at the answer to this question. If you have not do these questions yourself, please pause the video and come back after you've done. You'll see this is a standard question stem here. When I ask you to use appropriate terminology, I'm asking you to use suffix, prefix, infix, reduplicate, and use them as verbs, so that you don't provide redundant information, but you do provide necessary information, such as where to infix something. So for this question, it's not very hard to see there's reduplication involved, but it may be a little bit hard to actually describe which sounds are reduplicated. Another terminology I do expect you to use is the word syllable. When describing sound, syllable is a very convenient unit, so you may consider counting the syllable and describing where you're inserting a sound. So here, I'm going to first use the terminology reduplicate. And then I'm going to describe which sounds are reduplicated. Did you get it right or something similar? Now let's look at the second question. This one is even harder than the first one. And again, it's not hard to spot that there's some kind of reduplication involved. But it is a little hard to describe which sounds were reduplicated. For example, for this one, it seems like we reduplicated something in the middle. And for this one, it seems like we reduplicated something in the end. And for the last one, it's something in the middle but towards the end. Now, if we separate these words into syllables,
na, long,
2-syllable,
down, ho, low,
3-syllable, 3 vowels,
mate, goat,
2 syllables. If we go back and look at the data, we realize that the reduplication seems to be something in the last syllable. Did you notice that? In the first line of data, we noticed that we duplicated a consonant U and a vowel A. The second line of data, we reduplicated the consonant U and a vowel O. The third line, we reduplicated a consonant G and a vowel O. We noticed that the part that is being reduplicated always involves a consonant and a vowel together. Therefore, for this question, what we can put in here is Is that hard? Did you get it? Again, don't worry. This is a very difficult question. The questions in your midterm will be more straightforward, and you don't have to do so complicated descriptions like this. The third question asks us how to form pretty to very pretty. So we want to use the formula here. Reduplicate the first consonant and vowel of the last syllable. Pretty is bonita. We want to reduplicate the last syllable, and the last syllable only involves a consonant and a vowel. Therefore, our answer should be. Did you get it right? We only have one morphology question in this example, but in your midterm, you will have 3 morphology questions. The last question in your midterm part 1 will be a question about characteristics of language. In your midterm, you will see a different question, but the underlying concepts are similar. Here are some concepts to consider when preparing for this question. What is a dialect? What is the difference between a dialect and the so-called standard English? How do people define grammatical error or grammatical mistakes? What is descriptive grammar and what is prescriptive grammar?